Hello my fellow Tamrielites, welcome to the channel, or welcome back. Update 45 will drop on March 10 for PC Mac and March 23 on console, and it's called FallenBanners. We'll get 2 new 4-man group dungeons, the first being Exiled Redoubt, which is where we are now. I'll show you the entrance to the second dungeon, Lepsaclusa, at the end of the video. Between now and then, we'll be looking at every player reward available in FallenBanners. I'll put timestamps in the description and title cards in the video, so if you're looking for something in particular, it'll be easier to find. I do one of these rewards compilations for each patch, and I'll put a card on the screen that links to the playlist where they all live. Please do take note that while I confirm everything I can, I am filming on the PTS and some things might change before the patch goes live. It's always a good idea to confirm drop sources before grinding. If you see any errors or have any updates, please let me know in the comments and I will update the description with any of those corrections. And on that note, please check the description in case there are any corrections or additions. And with all of that fine print out of the way, let's dive into the rewards from FallenBanners. 37 new craftable furnishing plans will be added with Update 45, and these 9 Dawnwood pieces are the first batch of them. They are large, so this is the first 8, and 1 more is coming. These 9 plans will be dropping from Westfield Daily Reward bags, so if you don't have all the leads from those yet, you'll have a new incentive to do them. Even if you aren't planning on doing a Bosmer build, the little sapling fences will be useful in a lot of outdoor garden areas. And remember the large platform, it will be useful with other pieces we'll see later. The Bosmer motif isn't my favorite, partly because it feels unnecessarily primitive, but I like a lot of the Dawnwood pieces because they are clearly wild but also graceful. My newest batch of shiny toys, of course, our new batch of shiny toys, they aren't just mine, are shinies. These new 6 Miramore plans will be dropping from Miramore Incursions. We have 3 different versions of the glowing strings, which of course I love, and 2 different types of shattered glass piles, which can be a little hard to see, so I tilted them upright, but they do lay flat. We'll also get a new musical instrument from Miramore, yay, and I'll shut up for a few seconds so you can hear it. Speaking of shiny things, we also have 14 new Ayleid plans dropping as Antiquity Excavation bonus items in the Gold Coast, Westweald, and Blackwood zones. We've talked about this previously back in the rewards video for Update 44, which I'll link on the screen if you'd like more detail. But to repeat the quick recap, when excavating antiquities in, as I said, Blackwood, Gold Coast, or Westweald, you have a chance of getting one of these plans as bonus items when you excavate antiquities. Again, for more info, check out the linked video. With all of these large structural pieces, I am very much hoping we'll be getting an open field player home sometime soon to build in. It seems more and more likely. Oddly enough, there is only 1 single furnishing plan being added to drop from looting containers and mobs in Westweald, and it will be this lovely Colovian canopied bed. Since I've got a few extra seconds here, I'll mention that if you find this video helpful, please tickle the algorithm by touching one of its buttons or leaving a comment. You know how algorithms are, constantly needing attention. And with that, we move on to our last batch of new craftable furnishings, which are the new gold masterwork plans on Ralaslalu. As usual, there are 7 new ones, 1 for each crafting station. Our first piece is the alchemy pattern called Dawnwood Hut Partial. Remember earlier when I pointed out that Dawnwood platform? Here's why. You can pop this baby on top of that and use the ramps too. This, I think, is more indication that we'll be seeing an open space player home sometime in the future. Maybe the same space that works for Ayleid ruins could also be used for a Dawnwood build. That makes sense. Our gold clothing plan from Ralas is also Bosmer themed, and this one is called the Wood Elf Tent Saplings. It's kind of sweet. I don't normally love the primitive things, as I just said, but this is a nice tent without being super formal and cloth and manufactured. This looks like something that a ranger type would put out in the woods. I like it. But I suppose it's definitely a your mileage may vary kind of thing. Then we have our blacksmithing pattern, which is this gorgeous window. So shiny. I haven't found a good place for the other Iliad window we have yet, though, the one from Antiquities. My Iliad ruins, Varsalivea, are already decorated. If any of you are using Iliad pieces in one of your other homes, let me know in the comments. I want to come see how you use them in other spaces. We continue with the Iliad theme with our gold enchanting pattern, which is this lovely sconce. It is interactable and so can be turned on and off, but the glow is fairly subtle. Which is not a criticism, by the way. I love having a variety of colors and light intensities to choose from when using my glowy crystals. Then there's the jewelry crafting pattern, which is this beauty. It's called the Guardian Key Replica. When I was doing the scribing quest, I was so sad to realize that these weren't achievement items because I wanted at least a dozen of them to sprinkle around my homes. And soon I'll be able to make them, which is even better. I'm all for special quest items becoming craftable gold plans. Yay! For our last two plans, we switch to the Colovian style. This is the Colovian Grape Vat Large. It is the provisioning piece, and boy is it big. It'll be great if you're making a vineyard like the one in Westweald, but on the other hand, it doesn't seem to have a lot of versatility to me. I honestly could find homes for a dozen of the Guardian Keys that we just saw, but I don't know that I'll make even one of these as cool as it is. Our last plan is from woodworking, and it's this Colovian wine press. I've known a lot of hobby brewers in my life, so this seems like a much more commonplace kind of wine appliance. I could see me using this in a small home winery setup. In fact, I can say it's inspired me already to start setting up a mini brewing area in a current build that I wouldn't have added otherwise. Before I wrap up, I will also mention that when Update 45 drops, previous gold plans will be moved from Rallis to Faustina as usual, and she will also gain a new set of furnishing plan envelopes, the Westweald Journeyman and Master envelopes costing 20 and 50 writ vouchers respectively. These envelopes will contain random Colovian furnishing plans from the Gold Road chapter and Update 43, I believe. I'll put a link on the screen to the Gold Road Rewards video if you want to take a look at some of those furnishings. Note that in order to purchase the Westweald envelopes, you will have to have unlocked the achievement Marked by the Eye, which is completing the first step of the Necrom Zone story called Fate's Proxy. In addition to those craftable furnishings, the FallenBanners dungeons will bring us new collectible furnishings as well. 2 new Undaunted trophies, 2 new Undaunted busts, and 2 new achievement furnishings available for purchase from the Undaunted vendors. We start with the set from Exiled Redoubt, and for this dungeon, the achievement furnishing is a large banner. The trophy from the Squall of Retribution boss is cool, but the bust is noteworthy because I believe it's the first to include color on the brass, so it really stands out. For our other dungeon, Lepsiclusa, we've got the usual trophy and bust pair. The achievement furnishing, however, is quite large, so we're holding off on that for the moment so we can take a good look at the trophy and bust of Orpheon the Tactician. He also inspired a skin we'll see later. But right now, let's move over to the Lepsiclusa achievement furnishing on sale from the Undaunted vendor. Yep, a boat. And a nice one too. And by the way, both of these Undaunted achievement furnishings, the banner and the boat, only require you to do the dungeon at normal level, not vet. That's Exiled Redoubt Vanquisher and Lepsiclusa Vanquisher, respectively. Hold up though, the Undaunted vendor has one more new item for sale, a replica Soul Reaper, which you can buy after unlocking the achievement Slayer of Death itself, which requires destroying 25 Soul Reaper devices. What are those? The first quarterly patch usually includes a prologue quest for the new chapter. Chapters are gone, but we will still be getting a new prologue quest for our inaugural season's story. It's actually a pair of quests. The first is called A Guild in Crisis, and the following is called Justice for the Fallen. After you have completed both of these quests, Reaper Strikes will begin appearing for you in the world. You know those little mini dolmens that pop up in the base game world? They're called Dark Fissures. After finishing both prologue quests, some of those Dark Fissures will be Reaper Strikes. You'll be able to tell the difference because there will be a Worm Cult Soul Reaper device present in a Reaper Strike. This is what those look like, and after you've completed 25 Reaper Strikes and unlocked the achievement Slayer of Death itself, you will be able to buy this furnishing. I'm not normally into decorating with skulls, but I gotta say this is really quite cool. No idea what I'll do with it, but I do kinda want one. And that brings us to the end of the new furnishings, but not the end of Reaper Strikes, because Reaper Strikes will also be dropping outfit style pages, so let's take a look at that outfit. This is the Worm Cult Hunter outfit style, and I really like the hat. Note, however, that it does cover up your hair. Definitely gives Witch Hunter vibes, though. Very cool. I have no idea how commonly these pages will drop, but if they start out expensive, you might want to wait a bit before you buy them. The price will definitely go down after a while, even if they are rare. There's only the one outfit style, so we've already done with this section, but we still aren't done with Reaper Strikes because they will also be dropping fragments for a new skill style. To get the carmine red version of Soul Trap, appropriate for something called a Soul Reaper, you'll need to collect and use 10 fragments, which unlocks this achievement. I'm pretty sure those fragments drop from Reaper Strikes, but I couldn't confirm that on the PTS, so if you get one, please let us know in the comments. Before I leave this screen, also notice that there's another new skill tile from Fragment Chases called Tomes of Life Beyond Death. Note that although they are called tomes, we're still talking about collecting fragments, not reading books. That achievement will unlock the violet-purple version of Entropy. We also have 3 new skill styles for sale from Maj for Undaunted keys. 20 each for Cleave and Snipe, 40 for Regeneration. If you like any of these, you might want to save your keys until the patch drops. And on that note, let's take a look at the default colors and new skill styles side by side. Our first 2, as I said, are unlocked by the achievements I had on the screen previously. Entropy is a Mage's Guild skill, and the skill style, Violet Purple, unlocks with the achievement Tomes of Life Beyond Death by collecting the 3 tome fragments. Soul Trap is a world skill, and the skill style Carmine Red unlocks from collecting 10 fragments from Reaper Strikes. The next 3 up for viewing are all available from Maj at the Undaunted camp for keys. The first 2 of Maj's batch are Cleave from the two-handed weapon line, which gets a nice blue color, Arctic Blue, and Snipe from the bow line, which gets Vibrant Yellow, which is indeed a much more vibrant yellow option. Both Cleave's Arctic Blue and Snipe's Vibrant Yellow cost 20 keys each. The third skill style Maj has to offer will cost 40 keys, and it's lilac purple version of the Restoration Staff skill Regeneration. I noticed we've been getting a lot of new purple options. I wonder if that's because it was overall a color we were lacking in the spells, or if there's a lore reason involving the Magna Gi. But let's move on before I get derailed. Our last 2 skill styles come from unlocking the Challenger achievement for the new Lepsiclusa and Exiled Redoubt dungeons. That's the trifecta achievement, and I do believe people who put in the work to get those deserve something special. We will be taking a closer look at the new achievements in a bit. First, though, we have to talk about the missing reward here. The skill style associated with the Exiled Redoubt trifecta, the verdant green version of Wall of Elements, wouldn't activate for me on the PTS, so I was unable to film this one. I saw it when the NA characters were up, and it's pretty, but I wasn't filming then. Boo. Let's console ourselves by jumping into the new gear, starting with the Exiled Redoubt dungeon. The light armor from this dungeon is called Vandaloran's Resonance. This one seems like it would be fun for a shock-based heavy attack build farming mobs, like in a public dungeon. I should mention the motif. All 3 weights we'll be looking at from Exiled Redoubt are in the new Exile's Revenge motif. I like it. It's an interesting take for the Imperial look. I particularly like the gloves and sandals. My Imperial diehard character might need an outfit update after this. I believe I have a shot of the robe for this one as well. The medium armor is called Gerency's Bladestorm. I try to put different colors on so you can see how they dye, but I'm also heavily using the dye colors from Update 45, and I'll identify those when we're done with the gear. Note that the red diamonds on this motif cannot be dyed. They stay red, because of course they do. Our last set from Exiled Redoubt is the heavy armor set called Lucilla's Windshield, which kind of cracks me up. I wish I had enough time in these videos to showcase the visual effects of all of the armor sets, but the videos are definitely long enough as is. Last but not least, we have the new monster helm and shoulder from Exiled Redoubt, which is the Squall of Retribution. The only part of this helm that can be dyed is the cloth under the 3 faceplates. Red probably wasn't the best color, but I wanted to make sure it was clear. I really love the look of the trophy, but the helm's a little unsettling. Maybe that's just me. And then we'll switch over to the armor from the Lepsiclusa dungeon. This motif is called Militant Monk, and I really love it. I am very much looking forward to getting this motif into my wardrobe. The light armor is called Fledgling's Nest. I can't speak to the math on this set, whether or not it will be good for healers, but again, as far as the aesthetics of the set goes, I do hope that I'm in some group and don't know the healer is wearing it and then suddenly Griffin's Nest starts spawning. That would be a fun surprise. Next, we've got the medium set called Noxious Boulder, which for some reason makes me think of Indiana Jones running from a big stone ball instead of Lepsiclusa dungeon. Imprinting, I suppose. At least it isn't snakes. Today. Yet. By the way, the parts of this that look silver are the bits that do not die. I used 2 different colors of purple and the new gold leaf, 10th anniversary gold leaf on this one. Our last gear set from Lepsiclusa is the heavy armor set Heroic Unity. In this motif, the heavy armor in particular dyes very dark. The dye on the metal bits here is Julianos White. I gotta say again though that I just love this motif. And since I'm repeating myself, I'll take a moment to say thanks for watching and supporting the channel. If you're finding it useful, I'd appreciate it if you'd like or subscribe or leave a comment. The algorithm loves it when people comment on videos. Let's move on to the last of the Lepsiclusa gear, the monster set from Orpheon the Tactician. I know I said the Squall monster helm was on the unsettling side, but now let me present the helm of Orpheon the Tactician. For me, it's landing in the uncanny valley somewhere between a Victorian child's death mask and a killer robot doll. That is not a criticism. He is called Orpheon the Tactician after all, and I'm sure it was a deliberate sculpting on his part, and I mean, the dev deserves some kind of an award. Like maybe a gold-plated Chucky doll? Putting that away, we move into our last set of gear, which all drop from Reward of the Worthy bags in Cyrodiil. Once again, we're starting with the light armor called Arcay's Charity. All 3 of these armor sets drop in the usual Cyrodiil motifs, so I won't be showcasing the appearance of the armor as normal. We have 4 new dye colors coming with Update 45, only one of which is associated with the 2 new dungeons. The other 3 dyes are from the 10th anniversary achievements. Our medium armor is the Lamp Knight's art set, and this is an interesting set. Stamina, weapon and spell damage, and then the 5th piece, 100,000 offensive penetration, but reduces the damage done by 46%. Which is a lot, but you're punching through all that impenetrable armor and crit resist people have stacked. Those of you who can math this and know the defense side of Cyrodiil, what do you think about this set? Is the trade-off worth it? Moving on, our heavy gear set from Cyrodiil is Black Feather Flight. The primary color here is the Exiled Goldenrod, which is a lovely butter color on that metal. The black accents are, again, the 10th anniversary ebon leather. I like this set. I run around Icy and Ciro and Thief Fields, trying to be fast and sneaky. I don't bother trying to kill people much, but I sometimes run support when I see fighting. This would not be a bad set to flip on for that. Which brings us to the end of the gear and segs us nicely into a spotlight on the dye colors. The Exiled Goldenrod color comes from the achievement FallenBanners Scout, unlocked by completing both new dungeons, Exiled Redoubt and Lepsiclusa, on normal difficulty. It's on every channel in this costume, and I included it a lot on the gear sets as well. It's a soft matte gold that dyes well, and it doesn't fade out as much as some of the other pale golds. The 10th anniversary dyes are Ivory, Ebon Leather, and Gold Leaf. You can see each of them on this costume, and I included them on the gear sets with the Exiled Goldenrod as well. All are unlocked by completing a variety of ESO anniversary achievements, including activities from all around Tamriel. Specifically, 10th Anniversary Gold Leaf is unlocked by looting a safe box in every zone of Tamriel. 10th Anniversary Ivory is unlocked by using each one of the 13 unique Mundus stones in the world. And 10th Anniversary Ebon Leather is unlocked by completing 4 different DLC activities, plus the Infinite Archive. That's Antiquities, Jewelry Crafting, Tales of Tribute, Scribing, and the Infinite Archive. Then we move on to our new set of face and body markings, which come from Battlegrounds. You can buy 2 new rune boxes from the Battlegrounds vendor, the Battlemaster's Dual Rune Box and the Battlemaster's Rivalry Rune Box, for 50,000 AP each. Once you have them, you'll need to combine them with 20 Battleground tokens from reward bags. And once you do that, you unlock the Drake and Demon's Dual face and body markings, which look like this. Very colorful. Totally worth finding a motif or outfit style option with an open back to show off properly. And lastly, regarding appearance changes, we have the new skin added with Update 45, which is the Tactician's Gold Lattice. You can unlock this skin through the achievement FallenBanners Delver, which is completing both of the new dungeons, Exiled Redoubt and Lepsiclusa, on Vet. Oddly enough, this metal mask doesn't give me nearly the same level of creepy doll vibes as the Orpheon monster helm did, even though it looks just as coldly alien and dangerous. The lattice pattern is really quite lovely. Very elegant killing machine look. I like it. Our next rewards are the Mementos. Completing each of the dungeons on Vet level also rewards players with a new memento. For completing Exiled Redoubt on Vet, the memento is the Haunted Mirror of Introspection. And here's that. And completing the Vet Lepsaclusa unlocks the memento, the Dust of the Conqueror's Flame, and here's what that looks like. Lastly, completing the various challenge achievements for the 2 dungeons will unlock 6 new titles, 3 from each. For your screen-capping pleasure, here are the achievements associated with the 2 dungeons and the rewards associated with each in a tidy chart. By the way, in case this is the sort of thing that makes you happy, I'll point out that I unlocked super thanks for the channel, and you're welcome to buy me a coffee if you like. Which we both know is way less than Archivist and Apocrypha charge for cataloging this much information. That brings us to the end of the rewards from the dungeons and to our last new item, a pet. The pet is acquired by completing the quest Justice for the Fallen. As I mentioned earlier, this is the second of 2 prologue quests coming with FallenBanners. First, you'll pick up the prologue quest, A Guild in Crisis, and once it's done, the quest giver will start you on the second half, Justice for the Fallen. Finishing that second quest unlocks the Mind-Shriven Mud Crab, as well as enabling you to see the Reaper Strikes and start working on those other collectibles. I try to limit myself to showcasing rewards in these videos, but I do want to mention some other updates we'll be seeing in March when FallenBanners hits. I'll start with something that's mostly a quality of life update, but does include us getting costumes, because disguises from quests will become costumes. To step back a bit, many quests in the game include disguises that you have to carry in your inventory and then put on to use. Once on, they can't be dyed. With Update 45, those disguises will become costumes if you have done the associated quest. That's great news for new players, as it adds an easy, free, in-game way to earn some great versatility to their characters' looks. I would have loved that when I was starting out. I'm not going to go through and show them all since they've been in the game already, but I wanted to mention that this is coming. And I have to talk about the changes to the green CP tree, where 9 skills that currently have to be slotted, like meticulous deconstruction, will become passive skills that just work all the time. That is such a fabulous quality of life update. I think we are all tired of micromanaging those slots all the time. We will also start to see some of the new map updates. The world map will no longer show every way shrine, and the name of the zone will appear as you scroll in. It's not only a cleaner look and easier for new players to navigate and tell which shrines are most important, it's easier to use when scrolling into smaller zones too. There will be other map changes, some involving the filter, so take a look at your maps after the patch. Along the same lines, we'll start to see texture updates in the starter zones. Be sure to visit one of the starter zones when the patch hits to see the difference. I am looking forward to screen capping the heck out of Stros Mackay all over again. And here's a cool new thing. With Update 45, we'll start seeing different kinds of reactions available in NPC dialogue. These are called player response options. Possibilities include kind, grim, merciful, ruthless, joker, and flirty. I can hardly wait to see how that last one plays out with Darien and Naryu the next time either of them show up. If you've heard about the new furnishing that will allow us to control the weather in player homes, you may have noticed that I didn't mention it. I am very excited about this because it means I won't have to worry about filming in the rain, but to be clear, this item will not be coming in Update 45. It will be out sometime later this year. 2 new homes will also be coming in 2025, later, including Castle Skingrad, which has the layout of Castle Skingrad from the solo game. Yay! The second, Shattered Mirror Isle, is not only in Fargrave, but if you port outside the door, it puts you in the same city square with the daily quest givers, which is awesome all by itself. I wish we had more townhouse-type homes, small or medium, in the heart of cities. But moving on. I'm also excited about the fact that we'll see a new event later this year that's themed around crime. To prepare, you might want to check out my video about cooperative pickpocketing because multiple people can loot all 3 of their items off of an NPC without competing with each other or having to yell at each other in zone chat. For real. It isn't an exploit, and I show you how and why it works in that video, which I will link on the screen. And those are all of the rewards and some of the other updates coming with FallenBanners in March and some hints of the future. Thank you for hanging out with me. If you found this video useful and you'd like to support the channel, one of the most effective ways to do that is to share the link on social media with the hashtag ESO and tag Zos at The Elder Scrolls Online. Also, as I mentioned before, I have opened super thanks on the channel, and I would very much appreciate a coffee or a 12-pack of Coke Zero if you think that's been earned. There's also the buttons to click too, which is totally free and makes the algorithms happy, so if you've had fun, let them know by clicking like, subscribe, or leaving a comment. Regardless of all the things the algorithm likes, I appreciate that you have already taken the time out of your day to spend with me. Watch minutes are loved too, so thank you for that, as always. I look forward to having you back in my little corner of the internet soon, but until then, thanks for watching, and may all your loots be loot.